estate sector has always been caught in a bind over bank financing. Banks don't lend to real estate quite eagerly, more so because the government is quite wary of the bubbles that burst very often in real estate. But that's not endemic to India. It's a global phenomenon. Hello and welcome to another edition of Idea Exchange. And today I have with me Rajiv Sabharwal from ICICI Bank. Thanks for being with us on the show.
Pleasure meeting you.
To start with, let me ask you one simple question. The current rise in the prices in real estate, do you think that's a bubble that is waiting to burst?
Actually, real estate is a very local market, and you can't really compare one city and equate it with what's happening in the whole national space. So there are cities where prices have gone up more. There are cities where price increase have been moderate. So it really depends on those specific markets. I believe where prices have moved up very sharply, sales have got impacted. Today the consumer is very wary of buying into projects which are priced very high. So I would believe that in case the price rise is high in certain cities, sales would get impacted.
But how do you as a banker look at the current trend in price rise?
We've actually looked at each project and evaluated it whether we would want to fund residential space in those projects or not. When it's a case of individuals buying into a house, we would really see at what LTVs or loan to values we would want to lend, which will be a function of the price at which the developer is selling the unit. So we would always try to work in the interests of the borrower per se. If you're looking at a project funding, when we look at the cash flow security and the value of the property as a security, we do our own valuation. We do not rely on data which is provided by the developer per se. We have an in-house valuation team, and we use experts from outside to do a valuation which we believe is correct.
But Mr. Sabharwal, that's the case in almost all the industry. But why is that real estate still has got a bad name?
I don't think so. We can paint an industry with one brush. There are developers who have created properties and delivered them well in time. There are people, individual buyers who trust individual brands and go to them. We would like to associate with those developers who've got a long background and a track record of delivery, and also people who have really stood by the customers.
How do you think is the latest trend of having credit rating for developers? Is it positive, or is it that bankers would be neutral to it?
Any neutral agency trying to rate developers is actually a good trend. It's good for the industry because it gives a barometer for the consumers to evaluate with the same lens different developers. If the credit rating agency focuses a lot on the background, the speed at which the projects have been delivered, the quality of construction which has come into being, and more importantly, according to me, what is very relevant is after sales service. If all these get combined together with the financial due diligence which the credit rating agency does for financial closure of a project, I think so these ratings would carry a lot of merit.
Simply put, there are two issues here when it comes to credit rating. One is that it's an ongoing rating throughout the project. So does that really help a financing company?
According to me, credit rating is something which should be done at regular intervals, because we can't really assume that the status of a developer or a project will remain uniform throughout. What is essential at the beginning stage when we kick off a project is complete financial closure. That's very necessary to give comfort to people who buy into that project, whether that project will complete in time or not. Post which, what is necessary to evaluate is whether things are going as per plans or not. Whether what should have got constructed, what should have got sold, and so on and so forth is happening as per schedule or not. So according to me, a rating right in the beginning plus some update which comes on that on a regular interval, those could be 6 months or 12 months, is very essential to really gauge whether the project is doing well or not.
But Mr. Sabharwal, will that also replace some part of your due diligence procedures? Will the credit rating take over that?
I think so. A number of tools come into evaluation of a proposal. While as a bank we would not want to dilute our standards of evaluation, we would still want to do things in as much detail as we have been doing in the past. However, a rating does give us a comfort that there is a neutral agency which has given a project a rating or a developer a rating. So it is a tool which we will also use for it. And over a period of time, if we find that those tools are turning out well and good indicators of the performance of the developer, they will get fully imbibed into our rating methodology.
What is your opinion on regulator, which is yet to come? There has been so much of a hype created over regulator, and developers are probably not very happy with the idea. They say that they will only add too many more approvals. What is your opinion on that? Mr. Sabharwal, before SEBI came in 90s, the same issue was discussed. Why you replicate a CCI over that? Why do we have a SEBI? But finally, everything settled, and now SEBI is an authority for the entire markets, and it's working quite well. Will that not work for real estate too?
I feel this industry needs a regulator. If you look back and see what regulators have done to a particular industry, all of them have had a positive impact on the industry, and I see no reason why in this case it should be different. Two things which are very, very important for a regulator is to ensure that the long-term sustainability of that industry remains. The industry is more transparent, and more importantly, it's good for the consumers. It's good for customers who buy into houses made by developers. If all these objectives are well meshed in, there is no reason why a regulator will not do a good job on this. We believe that this industry is a fairly large industry in terms of its contribution to the economy per se. If we look at industries, over 250 industries are related to this sector per se. We know this is an asset which the consumer buys once in a lifetime and is the most prized possession for him. We also know that this is a very long-term asset, which means that it remains with the consumer for a very long period of time. So if we really factor in all these things, it's essential for us to create an ecosystem which ensures a long-term sustainability of the industry, and more importantly, it brings in good things for the customer. And I believe a regulator would be working together with this industry to ensure that these things happen.
In terms of such regulators in developed economies, how do you compare India with the developed world?
If you look back and see what the Indian regulators have done, they have outperformed the regulators elsewhere in any other economy. It's a clear demonstration of what happened in the last 2 years has been that Indian regulators have done a much better job.
We have a lot to teach them.
Exactly, we've done a much better job. So I think so. What is very, very important is this, that we have to look at what's prevailing in this market, take the learnings of what's happened outside, and adapt it to our environment and to this ecosystem which we have. And I see no reason why we will not set the standards for other countries to follow, even in real estate.
Okay, my last question would be on the PE funds. Suddenly, PE funds have become very, very interested in real estate. Is it only because of the high returns that it fetches for the PE funds, or is there some other reason for it?
I think so. A lot of money is available with PE funds, and they need to deploy. Real estate across the globe has been an interesting sector for PE funds to invest in. The other belief also, if you look back in the last, let me say, 12 months before, the market was down. Interesting deals were available for PE funds to invest in. All that excitement has led to more money flowing into the sector. Additionally, at this point of time, the transactions have also increased for land buys, because since the markets have revived, developers also want to invest in land. So a combination of all this is leading to more, or let me say, heightened activity in the PE space. It's very essential for people who are getting into this space and who are investing in real estate really find good projects and good developers to back, because it's very important for all players who are involved in the industry to make money for the long-term sustainability of more funds to come into the sector.
Mr. Sabharwal, that's a difficult task, isn't it, to find consistently performing real estate player, because on one hand it's difficult to find that kind of a player. On the other hand, big funds like Carlyle have actually shut shop when it came to real estate funds in India.
It's true for any industry. You have to work hard to find the right people. That will be true for PE industry also. If it was so easy and everybody could easily pick and choose the right developers, everybody would have been doing the same job. And that is why you need special sales heads. More importantly, people from the industry who've had experience in the industry have to work in these funds to really find out which projects would sustain and do well over a longer period of time, and which developers have had a background of coming out and delivering projects on schedule. Because one thing is very, very important in this industry is the holding costs are very high. Consequently, your speed of execution becomes very, very important.
But in India, there is also a question of, or rather, advantage of customer advances, which is not available in other economies, the developed economies. Does that not actually give a win-win situation to everybody, the developer, the buyer, the bankers, everyone?
Well, it's true. A lot of customer advances have been funded. Absolutely right. A lot of customer advances have been funding the construction costs for developers, and this has actually reduced their reliance on bank funds and PE funds. I think so. A combination of all three is essential to help build a good ecosystem. While there would be opportunities for banks to lend into, there would be opportunities for PE funds to get into, because all these funds try to get in at the land stage at which the banks cannot lend, because as prudent bankers we would like to lend only for projects which have all approvals in place.
Sure.
So a combination of consumer funds and over a period of time REITs, venture funds and banks is essential to build a good ecosystem.
If the regulator comes in place, if the credit rating becomes popular, will that mean that bankers will be more eager to lend to the real estate sector?
Anything which leads to a more regulated environment, anything which leads to more transparency is something which is welcomed by the banks. So we would look forward to an environment which ensures that things are more regulated, and we'd be happy to ensure that we move towards that.
Wonderful. On that note, let me close this. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much.